In the middle of a quiet forest, a man quietly hammers the first nail into the trunk of an ancient tree. There is no safety rope, no team behind him, just a hammer, a few steel nails, and a tree trunk over 100 meters high. He is preparing for a risky journey, climbing to harvest a giant wild beehive. Each nail blow is a step closer to danger, but also a step closer to the sweet treasure that nature hides up there. This is not a job, but a challenge between man and the old forest. The long, dark steel nail, hammered diagonally into the tree trunk at a height of about 80 to 100 meters, looks simple but is the key to opening a dangerous journey. It is not a single nail. The worker will continue to hammer each nail vertically along the tree trunk, evenly spaced, forming rudimentary ladders, enough to place the tip of the foot on when climbing. No safety rope, no folding ladder or support technology. Only hand strength, leg strength, and tree climbing skills honed over decades. Each step is a balance between technique and survival instinct, where a little carelessness can cost a life. Because the entire body weight is concentrated on each nail embedded deep into the trunk of a living tree, which is not designed to withstand the weight of a real ladder. Just one slip, a little slippery sweat, or a piece of bark falling off ... and there is nothing to hold it back. But for the bee hunter, this is a daily occurrence. Those nails, seemingly small and crude, are steps that lead him closer to the giant beehive waiting above, where nature has hidden its treasure in the most dangerous heights of the jungle. When the worker was only about 15 meters from the hive, he stopped, not because he was tired, but to perform an act of vital significance, to light a bundle of dry leaves that he had prepared in advance. The bundle was tightly tied together from flammable forest leaves such as coconut leaves, honeycat leaves, sometimes dry branches with a resinous smell which would create a dense smoke, enough to disorient the bees for a moment. Smoke, not to burn the hive, but to calm the bees. This is not a stunt nor a heroic act. It is a silent, subtle preparation distilled from the experience of hundreds of generations of foresters. One wrong move, too strong a fire, or uneven smoke can turn the whole tree climbing process into a disaster. The fire has just ignited from the core of the bundle of leaves. Thin streaks of smoke begin to spread into the air, mingling with the scent of the forest, reaching the beehive above. The worker says nothing, but in that silence, there is a dialogue with nature. I have come, I ask permission. After a tense climb, after each makeshift nail was hammered into the tree trunk and the thin smoke that spread evenly in the air, the worker now stood facing a giant wild beehive just within his reach. Before his eyes, the beehive was like a dark yellow moon, clinging tightly to the trunk of the ancient tree. Bees covered the surface, thousands of individuals tightly woven, vibrating gently like a living, breathing entity. The air was now as tense as a guitar string. The bees had sensed the strange presence, began to fly around in disorder, but did not panic. The smoke from the bundle of leaves still smoldered like a fragile protective layer, giving him a few precious minutes to observe. The smoke is not meant to burn the hive, but to temporarily disorient the bees, allowing the workers to approach and collect the honey without being attacked. This is a testament to how humans interact with nature with understanding, without destruction, without using force. This scene shows careful and methodical preparation, which requires not only courage but also skill, experience, and respect for the bees. At this moment, the worker had officially approached the giant wild beehive clinging tightly to a high branch in the middle of the old forest. The camera angle from above clearly showed that his feet were placed on a secondary branch to maintain balance, an extremely dangerous position when the ground was deep below his feet, and above him were thousands of extremely alert bees. The beehive was now clearly visible, long, thick, covering the tree trunk like a living black carpet. Although the smoke from the bundle of leaves could still be seen through the white mist at his feet, some of the bees had become agitated, and he had already started to get stung a few times. This was the highest point of challenge. Endure the pain, but do not waver. Because if he panicked and accidentally slipped, the stings of a few bees would be exchanged for a much greater risk. This is the barrier that every professional bee hunter must overcome: approach, accept a light attack, and remain absolutely calm. The sting is like a test ritual of nature. If you are not brave enough, do not touch the treasure of the forest. Now, after enduring the first few stings and maintaining his balance amid the dense smoke and buzzing, the worker begins to harvest the honey. He cuts through the thick layers of wax with a firm but gentle movement. The golden honey flows from within, shimmering like the sap of the forest. The air is filled with a rich, sweet scent, the scent of pollen, the perseverance of 1,000 wings, and the sweat of a man facing the heights and dangers. This is not a hunt, nor is it a conquest. This is a request, and the forest has nodded in acceptance. In the thin smoke, high in the canopy, the worker is completing his silent ritual, harvesting honey with absolute respect for nature. And so, each piece of golden honeycomb was skillfully cut out, then gently put into a plastic bag hanging from his waist. No loud noises, no hasty hand movements, just a series of actions practiced through hundreds of times climbing trees, collecting honey, and facing thousands of bees in the sky.